Hi, my name is Hazim FITRI bin HASHIM and my matrix number is 273915. Today I would like to present about the Uniform Custom and Practice for the Community Credit. History of the UCP. The Uniform Custom and Practice for the Common Credit, which is UCP, is a set of rules of issuance and use of the letter credit. Some of the banks have developed technique and method for handling letter of credit in international trade finance. This practice has been standardized by the International Chamber of Commerce (ICC) by publishing the UCP in 1933 and subsequently updating it throughout the years. The latest version was approved by the Banking Commission of the ICC at its meeting in Paris on 25 October 2006. This latest version called the UCP 600 that formally commenced in 1st July 2007. The objective of the UCP. First, the set of rules agreed by the International Chambers of Commerce, which apply to finance institutions which issue the letter credit and financial instrument helping companies finance trade. Second, the preparation and promotion of its uniform rule of practice. Thirdly, the ICC aims to provide a codification of international practice to select the best practice after ample debate and consideration. Okay, now we will continue to provision and coverage that provided by UCP 500. UCP 500 issuing documentary credit and also letter of credit. The application of credit. The bank shall apply to all documentary credit and letter of credit where they are incorporated into the text of the credit. They are binding all parties, otherwise they expressly stipulate in the credit. Next, meaning of credit. It any arrangement, name or describe whereby a bank act at the request and on the instruction of customer or on its own behalf. Okay, after that, transferable credit. Transferable credit is a credit under which the beneficiary may request the bank authorities to pay include a deferred payment undertaking, accept or negotiate. Okay, lastly, advising bank liability. A credit may be advised to beneficiary through another bank without any engagement on the part of the advising bank. But that bank, if it elect to advise to credit, they shall take a reasonable care to check the apparent authenticity of the credit which it advises. If the bank elect not to advise the credit, it must inform the issuing bank immediately. That's all from me.
This is a generator of UCP 600. Importer and exporter gonna make a sale contract. Importer gonna apply letter of credit to issuing bank. After that, issuing bank gonna issuing letter of credit to advising bank. Advising letter of credit gonna be passed to exporter using advising bank. After get the advising letter, goods will be shipped by the exporter to importer. After the shipment of the goods, exporter will give document to advising bank and going to pass it to issuing bank. After the payment release, issuing bank gonna give document to the importer. Relationship between two parties. Important is when a company buy goods from another country with an aim of reselling it in the domestic market to meet the demand for goods which are not available in a domestic country. High level of import is an indicator of robust domestic demand. While export is when a company provide goods and service to the other countries for selling purpose to increase the market share or global presence. High level of export is an indicator of trade surplus.
Assalamualaikum and hi, I am Muhammad Irfan bin RAZALI, ID number 272230. So for today I want to share with all of you three things. First, time for issuance of credit. Second, the basic principle, and lastly, the payment. So time for issuance of credit, date of issuance also can be called as the date of shipment. But in the term of extending maturity, the replacement draft or new deferred payment must be determined by the local law of where the place was accepted. And next, the draft also can be re-accepted by the acceptance of the confirming bank. Okay, next, I want to go to the basic principle, nomination, and Article 14F and 14H. As for nomination, issuing bank need to authorize the nominated bank to purchase draft, accepted, and deferred payment undertaking. Okay, we go to the Article 14F. Article 14F said that the bank will accept the letter of credit if all information are in the letter of credit. The information needed are certificate of analysis and inspection certificate. Okay, so what if the information are not in the letter of credit? Article 14H said that if the information are not in the letter of credit, the bank will disregard it. And lastly, we go to on the payment. Okay, pay at maturity if the credit is available by deferred payment. Accept a bill of exchange draft drawn by the beneficiary and pay at maturity if the credit is available by acceptance. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
I will explain about form of documentary credit. There are 8 forms, so I will explain one by one. The first one is irrevocable and revocable. It is an undertaking that guarantees the bank's issued payment for any service or goods purchased. The second one is silent confirmation. It is the private arrangement between the seller and the bank, in which the bank adds a guarantee of payment to the seller without the issuing bank's knowledge on certain set conditions. The third one is confirm. Confirmation refers to a definite undertaking by the confirming and issuing bank for honoring or negotiating a complying representation. The fourth one is red and green clause. These credits include an exclusive clause allowing the seller to draw the credit before the goods are shipped and the documents submit. The fifth one is revolving. Revolving letter of credit is a credit covering multiple transactions over a long period. The sixth one is transferable. Under this credit, the seller can transfer the credit in full or partial to one or more third parties. The seventh one is standby letter of credit. It is similar to demand guarantees, which are also known as bank guarantees. It is a legal document that guarantees payment to the seller even when the bank or bank's client defaults on the agreement. Last but not least is back-to-back. Traders who intermediate between the final buyer and the source supplier usually utilize this type of credit. There are 9 basic rules on document required. The first one is commercial invoice. In international trade, a commercial invoice is a very important document since it is the official bill of sale and a document based on which the importer pays the exporter. The second one is transport documents. Bill of lading (BL) is a contract between a seller and the carrier evidencing delivery of goods into the care and custody of the carrier. The third one is packing list. A packing list is usually requested by the buyer from the seller to assist the buyer in identifying the contents of each package or container that is being exported. The fourth one is certificate of origin. A certificate of origin is a document that provides evidence of the country of origin of the imported goods. The fifth one is inspection certificate. An inspection certificate evidence that goods were inspected and details the result of the inspection. The sixth one is insurance certificate. An insurance certificate is requested by the buyer when the trade terms specified in the LC is cost, insurance and freight (CIF) or cost and insurance paid to (CIP). The second one is health certificate. Certain countries require that all imports of food that are marked for human consumption are attested by the exporting country that they are free from disease, meet the standards and legislation for export, and are fit for human consumption. The eighth one is consular or customs invoice. A consular or customs invoice is prepared by the seller on an official country-specific form. The last one is bill of exchange or draft. A bill of exchange or draft is an unconditional order in writing addressed by one person to another, signed by the person giving it, requiring the person to whom it is addressed to pay a sum of certain money.
Okay, the next slide is about the most frequent discrepancy in letter of credit. Okay, the first one is incorrect data. So, incorrect data has the information any one of the documents presented does not comply with the letter of credit, terms and conditions. Okay, the next one is letter of credit expired. So, the document presented after the letter of credit has expired. So, normally, banks should not accept any document that has been presented after the expiry date of credit. But banks left the ultimate decision to the applicants on this regard and evaluate late presentations after the expiry date as a discrepancy. Okay, the last one is incorrect descriptions of goods. So, the descriptions of the goods on the invoice and other trade documents differ from the descriptions of goods mentioned on the credit. Okay, the next slide is about precautions against frauds of letter of credit. There are 3 precautions, which is buyers, sellers, and also banks. Okay, once fraud has been committed, there are very few remedies available to a buyer. Okay, so a buyer might seek an injunction to prevent the issuing of corresponding banks, paying on the basis that beneficiary has acted fraudulently. However, such injunctions are rarely granted. Okay, as for seller, fraudulent letter of credit issued or advised by fictitious banks are a risk for seller. So, when dealing with the new trading partner or unfamiliar bank, sellers should seek the opinions of their own bank before proceeding the business. So, an issuing bank can be induced to open credit by fraudulent mispresentation. Okay, as banks, where a corresponding bank is unable to seek reimbursement down the chain, one option is to bring a claim against the seller, either for restitutions for mistakes or for damages for the productions or deceitful documents.